Can I make a copper and turquoise necklace? I'm a little bit worried about this one and I might need your help. The Softflex Badlands kit came and it has copper, turquoise and blue beads in it. Not quite what I'm used to working with, so let's see how it turns out.
The morning sun is rising, spreading its light on the bed, shining all that.
Hello, welcome to The Stylish Maker. My name's Carol. Last week, the Badlands Softflex Design Challenge kit arrived and I unboxed it with my members. So I'm going to show you the unboxing first and then I'm going to make a necklace from the beads. This is the Badlands Softflex kit and I am going to be opening it now. The code to get your discount is COMPASS, COMPASS, and that gets you a $5 discount on your order if it's more than $50. We have a Metallics Softflex. It is a 0.48 millimeter and it is in the color copper. It's very nice, very pretty. There it is there. Next we have this little strand of probably 3x4 millimeter rondelles, faceted. They're kind of a topaz color. And we also have the same one in this minty green color. Always like minty green. And let's open this kit here. So we have copper crimp tubes this time. And our ear wires are in with the beads. So let's tip them out. Trying not to make a mess. Okay, let's sort out the ear wires and the findings first. So we've got 2 pairs of copper ear wires and a copper clasp. So pop those over here. These are some kind of amber coloured large beads. There's not much in this pack. Maybe there's more in the Jessie James pack. So these are kind of a triangle shape. They're quite interesting. The hole goes through from this side to this side, so like they sit on the wire like that. So those are interesting. Then we have, oops. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those, and we have 5 of these, which are an oval. They're probably about 1 centimetre or 10 millimetres long, probably by about 6 wide. Those are quite pretty. They actually have a really, they almost look like a ceramic pot, that kind of finish on them. And a kind of mustard colour. Whoops. These ones want to run away. Then we have these. So these are quite a flat rondelle. They have a slight faceting, not a huge amount, and a little bit of an AB finish, so they're really looking really sparkly, and the hole goes through from this side to the other side. And lastly, in that little bag we have this compass pendant. So there's nothing on the back, it's just a aged copper pendant. So that's kind of cool. We'll put that up here. This is going to be a quick one, I think. All right. This is the Jessie James kit and it's called Badlands, of course. I feel like these are going to go everywhere when I tip them out. Stay. All right, let's start with these 2. There's only 2 of them? Yes. These remind me of batteries. They are a big cylinder. They're probably about 15 millimeters, even maybe more, maybe 2 centimeters even. And they are blue on one end and gold on the other. And they're kind of transparent as well. The hole goes from this end to this end. What do we have next? We have 2 of these. Gold, they are sort of a brass color and blue. Those are really cool. We have 2 of these. They also have that kind of ceramic pot look to them. The hole goes through this way. These beads want to run away today. We have 2 of these. They are a faceted round bead, probably about 12 millimeters. What else? We've got 2 of these, and we've had these before. They have an AB finish on one side. I think we had them in the, oh gosh, one of the kits that had green in them. I remember that. But they're quite a cool little bead as well. We've got lots of only 2s, so that's interesting. This one we do have 4 of. Those are kind of a bronzy colour, and they're a faceted rondelle. 4 of those. We have 2 of these. Very cool. Those are hollow. And we have 2 of these. Those are a square copper bead, and they're quite flat. What's next? So these are a coin, and they are faceted, and they do have a little bit of a bevel on them, if you can see that. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. We have some cubes. I always like cubes. I always find cubes challenging to use, but I do really like them. Okay, and they're a cool colour actually. I wish I could remember which kit it was that had these in it, because they also had some really cool green beads that were this colour. So there's 6 of those cubes. They're probably about a 6 millimeter. They have a slightly beveled edge. Oopsie. We'll put these 2 beads that want to run away up there. Next, I have 2 of these, which are just a faceted oval. Well, they're not really oval actually. They've got quite sharp edges. I have 4 of these faceted rondelles. They are probably about probably an 8 maybe, and probably by a 6. What else have we got here? We've got some bead caps. So it looks like we're making a copper necklace. So there's those bead caps. And we have some star spacer beads. Those are quite pretty. Running out of space to put things, as always. What else? I've got 4 of these beads. So these ones are a copper, they're kind of like a daisy spacer bead, but they are quite a bit fatter. They're probably about 4 millimeters fat. And lastly, in the coppers, we have these corrugated round beads. Those ones are a 6 millimeter, I would say. Then we have 4 of these faceted rondelles, and these have a matte finish on them. They're they're not white, they're kind of a creamy yellow colour. Lots of little things, lots of little amounts of things this time. Whoops. And lastly, we have some turquoise 4 millimeter beads. So just some little turquoise ones. So this is interesting. What do you think of this range of beads? Okay, so now you've seen the unboxing. I hope you enjoyed that and you liked the beads. They were very intriguing to me. I am not usually a copper person, so for me this is always a challenge, but some of these soft flex kits do challenge me, but that's a good thing. I'm going to make a necklace and I'm going to talk to you about how I designed it, what I used, and then we'll finish up the necklace. So I've already laid out my beads here on my bead board. I decided to use the pendant that came in the kit as the focal, so I'm going to put that in the center. There were only 3 blue beads in this kit, and I decided to use 2 of them. The other one was a dangle that didn't really work for this particular necklace. So I decided to use these 2 blue beads and these 2 blue beads and just spread them out a little bit. And then I just interspersed the copper and turquoise. I started with a double daisy spacer bead here, then I put 2 of the cubes and then another daisy spacer, and I figured with this sitting between that will look quite nice. And then I put my big beads and these beautiful copper beads. There were only 2 of them unfortunately, but they are absolutely stunning, and another cube. Then I've got one of the flat copper beads and I used a bead cap on either side of this large topaz bead. Then I've got another copper bead, this time a round corrugated one, and my large blue bead. Then I went with these rondelles and my turquoise bead and another of my topaz beads. Then I've got another copper one. Then I've got this beautiful big brass kind of bronze looking bead and a daisy spacer and another corrugated one. Now I did put a bead cap on either end of this cream one just to make it appear more round, because it's actually quite a square looking bead and I thought it worked really well with the bead cap. And I'm not sure about this bead. We'll see what it looks like when it's strung up. And then I used the kind of oval one, another cube just to bring the colour up to the top there, some more daisy spacers and round corrugated beads. And then I was short, so I decided to just use the small topaz and faceted rondelles, but then that didn't quite work. I needed a little bit more length, so I decided to put a turquoise round bead in the middle. So I went turquoise faceted rondelle, topaz faceted rondelle, smooth round turquoise bead, faceted rondelle in the topaz again, and just repeated that. And then I'm ending with 2 of the turquoise ones, faceted rondelles. So all of that came in the kit. The only things that I'm using that aren't in the kit are some jump rings. I've got 3 5mm jump rings and I've got 1 8mm jump ring to attach my pendant. As well as that, I'm using the clasp and the crimp tubes that came in the kit, and I'm going to be using the copper soft flex that came in the kit as well. So let's string up this necklace and see how we go. I'm going to start by turning my beadboard on the side here. I'm just going to pop it up there out of the way for a minute, and I'm going to put my jump ring onto my focal. Now if you haven't used jump rings before, I do have a video all about how to use them and I'll leave that linked in the description box below. So taking my 8mm jump ring and just holding it on the side there and holding it with my other pair of pliers and opening it. And I'm going to feed on my pendant and close my jump ring. There we go, there's my pendant with the jump ring attached. Now why did I need to add a jump ring? Why could I not just thread this onto the wire? Well, the reason for that is if I threaded onto the wire, it would be this way, and I don't want it that way. I need a jump ring to turn it around. So I'm just going to put that there, and I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to cut a piece of my soft flex, probably about 50 centimeters long. And I always like to put my cord tidy back on so that it keeps everything nice and tidy while I'm working and while I'm storing my soft flex. And I'm just going to pop that away. I'm going to put a bead stopper on one end to stop my beads falling off. Wonderful invention. Now I am intending for my necklace to be about 45 centimeters long by the time it's finished, because I've got about 22 centimeters here on either side, so that's 44. By the time I add my clasp, it will add an extra centimeter or maybe a little bit more. Just threading on the beads. I'm going to meet you at the middle here, so I'll string on all these beads and I'll meet you when I get down to the center. While I'm doing that, if you're interested in making the jewellery I'm wearing today, I'm wearing the choker and the necklace from the Gone Batty Softflex Design Challenge Kit. I'll leave you that video linked below. And I'm wearing this necklace which I made ages ago, and so I will leave you this one linked below as well. Note that I do have an extender chain attached to this, and I'll leave you a link on how to make one of those as well. The earrings were just made from one of the dangles that I made for the necklace. This is a super easy necklace to make, but very impressive. For bracelets, I am wearing a stretch bracelet which I made months ago, and I will leave you that one linked below. I am also wearing another stretch bracelet which I made when I made my ultimate knot video, and a bracelet I made when I made the 5 bracelets. So I will leave you those ones linked below as well. Lots of jewellery today. Over the top kind of girl, you know me. So I've just popped on my last bead here, which is the beaded rondelle. And I'm really liking how this is turning out. I was concerned about this bead here. Let's have a look at that. I actually really like it. It's big and chunky, but this whole kit was full of big and chunky beads. So I think it's really cool. So now I'm going to put on my focal, just feeding on my jump ring, making sure my jump ring's closed properly. I want to make sure there's no gap there, because if there's a gap it will fall off, so just making sure it's really well closed. Then I'm going to feed on the rest of my beads. Now I have all my beads strung on. Before I put my clasp on, I need to make sure that I've got everything in the right place. And I'm going to do that by holding it at one end by the pendant and putting my fingers at the other end where the beads finish. And I'm going to just come along and double check. So I've got my 2 beaded rondelles, my 2 cubes, and just double check every single bead to make sure that it's all in the right place. And the reason I'm doing this is with a necklace where you've got lots of different beads like this, it's really easy to mix them up, especially when you have small beads like this one. So everything's meeting and looking right to here, and I'm just going to double check these ones, making sure that I get them all in the right order. I find when I have small beads that are quite similar in size like this, it's really easy to mix them up and put them in the wrong order. But as things stand at the moment, it looks like everything is all good. So let's go ahead and put a clasp on this necklace. Before I do that though, if you're enjoying this video, it would be really great if you would give me the thumbs up, and also if you'd like to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Now, if you're watching on your mobile and you're not receiving notifications from me and you've done all of that, it's quite a good idea to go and check your settings and make sure that YouTube notifications are turned on. I really appreciate your support. I decided not to use a wire guardian here because this Softflex is so pretty. I wanted to see it. So I'm going to take my crimp tube and I'm going to pop it on, and then I'm going to pop on a jump ring. Now I need to make sure that my jump ring is nicely closed first. Just needs a little bit of a tweak. So just holding it and just lifting it up just a little bit to make sure it is really, really well closed. I'm going to pop on my jump ring, and then I am going to come down back through that crimp tube and pull everything up close to the loop there. So that's what that looks like. Now I am going to be using my magical crimping plier to crimp this, but you could use any crimping method you like. I'll leave you a link in the description box below to a video on different ways to crimp if you've never done this before. So taking my plier, putting my crimp tube at the front of the plier in the divot and squeezing and turning it a half turn. Actually, it's only a quarter turn, isn't it? And squeezing again. And just continuing to do that until I get a nice little crimp that looks like a bead. There we go. And I'm just going to test it, make sure that it's nice and tight. I will also leave you a video about how to troubleshoot your magical crimper. People often tell me they can't make it work, so I did a video all about it. So now I'm going to cut off a bit of my tail, and I want to hide it inside my beads. So just trimming that off. Then I'm going to thread my beads up and over that tail. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get them through the holes because they could be quite small, but that's working. And so now it's all hidden nicely inside there. Now I'm just going to run all my beads down to the other end. Now I do need to attach my clasp to my jump ring before I go any further. So I'm just taking a jump ring and my clasp, taking my 2 pairs of chain nose pliers, and I'm going to open my jump ring. So holding it on the side there and opening it. Feeding on my clasp and closing back up my jump ring. Just double checking that it's closed well, which it is. And that's what I have now. Next I'm going to take off my bead stopper and I'm going to crimp the other end, attaching the clasp. So grabbing my crimp tube and feeding it on. And then I'm going to feed on my clasp, and I'm going to come back down through my crimp tube and go through a couple of those beads like I did before. That's what I have now, and I've got a big gap and I've got a long tail. So what I'm going to do is hold my clasp and pull everything. Now as you can see, it's stuck. So what I need to do is pull my crimp tube down and pull again. And sometimes you need to do this several times. Now you do want to make sure that everything's pulled up nice and tightly so there's no gaps, but you don't want it too tight. You still want a little bit of a gap so that your beads still move freely. There's nothing worse than a really tight necklace. So as you can see, I have everything pulled up and my wire is coming out of this bead here. Now I'm going to crimp my crimp tube. So just taking it and giving it a squeeze, a quarter turn, and another squeeze, and keep doing that until you get it right. So there it is, crimped. And now I just need to cut off my tail. So to do that, I'm actually going to fold it kind of back on itself and hold my tail nice and firm. And if you do that, it kind of springs back inside the bead. You're getting in there as close as I can, holding it firm and trimming that off. And you can see there the tail kind of disappears inside the bead. So there it is on. It actually turned out better than I thought it would. As I said, I'm not a kind of copper toned girl, so for me working with these colors is quite challenging. I love turquoise and I love blue, and I think those were the redeeming factors for this necklace. Let me know in the comment section below, do you like it? Do you think I did a good job, or would you have done something differently? Now I do have a stretch bracelet that I'm going to make out of the rest of the beads, so stay tuned for that one. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you again soon.